Who wants a pot of coffee? I just made coffee. You want a cup of coffee? Sure, there you go. Who wants coffee? Anybody else want coffee? Who wants coffee?
And now it's time for the man with the caffeine, the new tropics for the brain. It's Coffee with Mike. Hang in, hang tight, grab your cup, and let's get this thing started.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Java Chat. It's Coffee with Mike, and today I get to talk with another new author, gentleman that's, yes, cheers, very much so. And while I have disabled comments on my coffee, I haven't disabled comments on the video. So make sure that you guys are asking questions and doing that kind of stuff. Glad you guys are all here watching, listening, and I get the honor of hanging out with Nate Palmer. Nate, thanks for coming to Java Chat.
Man, it's my pleasure, Michael. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Format's always the same, brother. We always we like to find out who our guests are, where they're from, and how'd you get to where you are today? What are you doing?
Cool. Yeah, I love to talk about myself. This is perfect for me. So, I'm in the fitness and nutrition industry. I've been working in this this field for about 11 years now. Basically for me, I think a lot of people gravitate towards fitness and nutrition kind of as fear-based, they're running away from something, powerlessness. They want to get they don't want to feel a certain kind of way. And for me, it was really no different. When I was 11, I was sitting at home alone, waiting for my mom to drop my sisters off at school, and someone knocked on the door. Didn't know who the guy was. He walked around back, broke a window, came into my house. So I did what any 11-year-old would do. And I grabbed a steak knife and hid under my bed in my room with the steak knife. Yep. Just feeling super scared. And I was kind of a scared kid anyway. So I think it just kind of came down for me. I never really wanted to feel powerless again. I never wanted to feel like I was at someone else's mercy. I didn't have control of the situation. So I really turned to, well, what can I control? Well, maybe if I put on enough enough muscle on my meat suit, then no one will ever be able to hurt me again. It's kind of how my journey started with my own personal fitness. And I know some people can relate to that because whether you're coming from being really skinny or being a little overweight, we all kind of have these desires to try to get away from kind of that and improve ourselves.
Right.
So a lot I'm sure kind of the cliche is the journey is more important than the finish, right? Because really there's no finish line for being healthy and staying in good shape. But I've learned a lot of amazing lessons along the way, forged a lot of great relationships, had a lot of super cool mentors. So I graduated University of Arizona in 2000 in the flourishing job market of 2009. And this might come as a surprise to you, but no one was banging down my door to hire me.
No, are you serious? But you just graduated.
That's right. And they were you must have graduated, need at least five years of experience for an entry-level position.
I don't know when that stuff started coming in, but I was just I started seeing the job. You must have at least 5 to 10 years. I'm it's an entry-level position. What the hell?
What do you want me to do? Yeah. So I started I had really gotten into, rather than studying for my business courses, I had started just reading all I could read about fitness and nutrition, how to eat right and how to train correctly. And so I finished school and I went to a gym and I was hey, while I'm figuring out what I want to be when I grow up, can I work here as a trainer? And they were sure, you come back with your certification, we'll hire you. Came back a couple weeks later and worked there for about a year before I was all right, got to get serious, got to get a real job now. So when I got a real job, it was inside sales, doing on the phone, and you would you'd call and they would it'd be ring and you'd be hello, would you like to have some continuing education? And they'd be is that mean I get to be on CSI? And I'm no. And then they'd hang up on me. And then I'd be I need to go to the bathroom. You had to click a button. You have a 120-second countdown to go to the bathroom. And I was this is the literal worst thing I've ever experienced.
Oh, wow.
So I lasted about 3 months there before I was I got to do something else. So I started my own business, doing coaching, and I've just kind of not looked back since. Started transitioned mostly to online coaching and training in 2015.
Yeah.
And then most recently, I released a book in 2017 called Passport Fitness, a guide about how to travel and stay in shape, which again, maybe surprise you, is not selling so great in 2020. No one's really buying it. It's really weird.
What?
And then my most recent book just came out. It's called The $1 Million Body Method. So it's kind of an amalgamation of all the lessons I've learned and just the way I've seen that high performers basically can eat in a way that's designed to build in energy to their lives, help them feel really good, have a ton of focus, and like as a side effect, drop fat incredibly fast, because the focus is not like deprivation and keeping themselves like, it's like starving themselves. It's how do you communicate with your body through food that we need energy, we need focus, we need to show up for our clients at 8 a.m. and our families at 5 p.m. And you can't be crashing out and watching like an hour's worth of Sports Center, you know, if you want to like really show up in a powerful way. So it's kind of like, it's my answer to all the fad diets, that because when people start doing it this way, they don't think of it like, oh, I'm not on a diet. They're like, I'm just eating, I'm just normal.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, and I think there's a lot to be said about that. I mean, years ago when I was back in Hawaii, I was also a personal trainer and nutritionist, and everybody would come through and then, oh, this is a great diet and that's a great diet. I said, it's so great, how come you still look like that?
Why is there a 95% recidivism rate on all diets?
Explain that.
So like the stat is crazy, Michael. People who lose weight, 95% of them will regain that same weight, probably plus a little bit extra for good measure. 95%. So that's an astounding number right there, which just tells us that like, even though like the supplement industry is like a $80 billion a year industry right now, like there are more trainers and more coaches and more information available than ever before. Well, why is obesity steadily creeping up? And why do only 5% of people get results, but also keep them? And just because we have the wrong mentality. We want that easy button. We want the magic pill. We don't know how to work it into our lifestyle. We don't know how to make it work for us.
What's really interesting to me is that people still think that there is a magic pill, that there's a silver bullet someplace. I don't know. I don't get it when we're talking about diets, that everybody and their brother is selling one along with a supplement. By the way, I hate to tell, for those of you that are listening to this, there's only a few manufacturers in the whole country that make these supplements, and they make them for multiple people. In fact, if you search out supplement manufacturer on Google or Facebook, you're going to start seeing one of those manufacturers' ads. Ask me how I know. And I've been to these manufacturing plants, and they're huge. They can handle great volume. They're very controlled. Some of them even invite the FDA inspectors to come in to make sure that it's following like near pharmaceutical guidelines. Great stuff. But that's not food. That's the magic bullet. There isn't such a thing. You still have, I'm assuming that's why you wrote this new book, is you still have to be able to, you still got to eat. Yeah. Nutrition comes from whole foods, not from pills.
Two crazy things about supplements though is like you said, you start searching out supplement stuff, you're going to start getting ads that are saying, hey, design your own supplement brand. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, like I know a lot about supplements. I've like been in this for a long time. I wouldn't want me to be creating supplements. I would want someone who's way smarter than me. Someone who's got like degrees in biochemistry, who knows how each of these individual ingredients interact with the human body and when they're in combination. For example, did you know that in almost every energy drink, Michael, they use caffeine, and they use something called taurine, which is an amino acid. Have you seen that?
Taurine, very addictive.
What's crazy about taurine? It's a caffeine antagonist, which means it literally mitigates the effects of the caffeine. So there's two possible explanations for this. Number one, it's malicious, where it's like, hey, we're going to put this in here so you got to drink more energy drinks. Or number two, it's just like, we don't really know how it works. So that people like every rock star, all Red Bulls, most pre-workouts, all these energy supplements have caffeine and taurine in them. But in reality, like taurine is what you should take before bed. It's going to relax you. It's going to help you feel a lot better. So it's not the thing you want in an energy supplement. And it's in 90% of them on the market right now.
What is the actual, I think I heard it, but I just want to clarify, what's the actual effect of those two hanging out? I know you said taurine's an antagonist, but what does that mean?
Like, it basically means it blunts the caffeine's like effect on your physical and mental like arousal. Caffeine, think of it like this. So
what would be the point of having the taurine in there then?
Great point. It doesn't make any sense. And so it's either that they want you to have two Red Bulls rather than one, because you know what's going to happen is you're going to spike up with the caffeine. You're going to kind of get that like dulled, like kind of crashy sensation afterwards, which I know like we've all experienced. You're like, man, I should just get another Red Bull and then do it again. Or it's just like, hey, this is the way we've always done it, and we haven't bothered to actually look at the science.
I can give you almost emphatically positive on number one, because why would they do number two? if they knew they could make more money, because they're not in business to make friends. And that's just the bottom line. That anybody that thinks that that these energy drinks are really trying to help you out, and I got to be careful with that, because I actually kind of rep one of them, and it's like, I don't talk that much, and I don't drink as much of it as I do this, just coffee, and I don't drink a lot of this either. I used to drink like a pot and a half of this a day. I'm down to like a cup. I think the biggest misconception with people is that they're still paying attention to the videos and the ads. They're not really doing any and not that this isn't a fault of the public all the time. I mean, sometimes they don't have the time to go do the research.
And the research can be contradictory depending on whose research you're looking at.
It's insane. I mean, if you're not looking at actual medical or scientific reports and know how to read them, which is even harder.
Yeah, most people aren't even qualified to be able to read through anything besides an abstract.
Yeah, exactly. And the abstracts aren't always the greatest either. They don't bring up. I mean, anyway, another podcast for another time.
Yeah, rabbit hole. Just let's go down it.
Yeah, it's a deep rabbit hole. You can go running into all kinds of conspiracy theories with that one. But I've actually read some medical and scientific reports on certain supplements and certain pieces of nutrition, and it had me like, I'm not going to touch that again. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, wait a minute, no, I actually have to, because if I don't, I'll become deficient, and you can't be deficient in any of the needed vitamins and minerals that you need on a daily basis, and in its proper form. How we were tested on what vitamins were fat based, what were fat soluble, water soluble, and all that stuff. And I looked at that and I was like, Jesus, I haven't done this in freaking years. Thankfully, I still remembered that which ones were which. I don't think I could remember it now because it's been so long, but I think a lot of people miss on and you can probably expand on this. I think a lot of people miss that if you're going to diet, you've already been on one, but it's probably not been in proper alignment with what your body wants or needs. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and I think that you're 100% right about that. We're all on a diet, right? My diet right now includes this delicious coffee. We're all what our food, and beyond that even, it's like, what are we taking in from the media? What are we looking at on social media? What are we reading? It's all part of our attention and physical diet. So we're already on one. So what I think people start thinking is okay, exercise is punishment, food is earned because I'm a dog and I need to reward myself, give myself a treat. And we start developing these disordered mental ideas about food, when in reality, exactly how you said, we need to get back on track with what our body needs. And I really think that food is communication with our body. And for example, I'll tell you kind of about the breakfast element. And I know we're kind of veering off course in your
not at all.
segments.
Not at all. This is exactly, no, this is all good, dude. I told you. So biggest thing with me is this is relevant to what you've written about, and this is relevant to what you do. So go where people miss on the breakfast element, and I have a feeling I know where you're going with this. So go dig.
So a lot of times we think is okay, what's healthy? Fruits and vegetables are healthy. So breakfast, I need to, oh man, I'm running out the door. I'm going to skip the Pop-Tarts. Okay, I'm going to grab this banana on the way out the door and go. Healthy choice, right?
Right.
But what we don't realize is the banana has high carbs and high sugars, even though it's fruit and they're healthy for the most part. What we're doing is we're setting ourselves up in a wrong position for the day to have a ton of energy, because especially if you have what's called insulin resistance, an easy way to know that is by doing your waist measurement divided by your height measurement. Anything above 0.46 is insulin resistant.
Wow.
So if you have a belly, if you can grab your love handles, you're probably insulin resistant. So sorry for the bad news to anyone. But basically, if you grab that banana on the way out the door, you eat it and your blood sugar spikes up. Okay. That's just what happens. And if you're not super sensitive to insulin, your insulin comes up too. Then your blood sugar goes down. Now you still have a little bit of insulin in your system. Now your body's sending hunger signals to your brain because it doesn't want to be out of balance. It wants to be right here, and you're right here. So it says, okay, we need to get some food. And rather than grabbing 6 blueberries, we grab half a donut at the break room or something like that. And we're back up here, and then we're out of alignment. And all day long, our energy is going up and down because we start with a really big time blood sugar spike. So in the book, what I say is with the best possible breakfast you can have is a breakfast that consists of proteins and fats. Now, proteins signal to your body recover, restore, and rebuild. They're made up of amino acids. They help you with your muscles, like everyone knows that, but they also help you build up your ligaments, your joints, your tendons. They help amino acids turn into enzymes, which help you with important processes in your brain. They help you think better, be smarter, make more neural connections. They're awesome.
Right.
Fats signal to your body low impact activities. Fats fuel walking, reading, studying, making videos, being on a podcast, like anything that like as entrepreneurs or people that are digital nomads or like business owners that we're doing on a daily basis, switching these hats in and out, right?
Yep.
So we signal to our body, hey, recover and rebuild, fuel our low impact activities for the day. Carbohydrates, on the other hand, signal high impact activities. Carbohydrates are great. I'm all for them. But we want to make sure we're doing is we're eating them at the right times to either refuel our muscle glycogen stores, or if we're going to go out and run a 10K or row, this much, or do like some sort of hard hitting activity, we need our body to have the fuel for that. So
Absolutely.
Most of us aren't working in construction right now. So we don't need that kind of high impact fuel in the beginning of our day.
I think one of the things, because I know this is a real big deal right now, and I do it once in a while, the intermittent fasting thing. It can help. I'm just wondering, and everybody's different. I just don't know how long that kind of lifestyle can be maintained. Any insights on that?
So glad you asked. So in the book, I call my seven daily investments, because like trying to keep it all like very, very honed in on the fact that like if you feel better, if you look better, if you have more energy, you make more money. I talk to a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs. This is the facts. I'm not a business coach, but I can help people make more money by helping them to get healthier. So then I have one weekly investment where I talk about intermittent fasting, but I do it in a specific way that's great for both men and women. And when most people think about intermittent fasting, we're kind of thinking about that 16-hour fasting window with an 8-hour feeding window.
Yeah.
Which can be good, but only for men. Women should not do that style of fasting. It can mess with their like hormonal balance. So real no-no on that. But this style of fasting, which basically is once per week, we do a 24-hour fast. So let's say we were going to fast tomorrow. So we'd eat a little bit of an earlier dinner tonight, and we'd eat a little bit of a later dinner tomorrow. So you spend a 24-hour period fasted, but you don't go a full day without food. Okay. So it's not very mentally taxing. And there's a couple of different reasons for this. Again, we go back to the communication aspect. Now, we weren't really like we don't have like a bunch of like agrarian, like we weren't evolving to be on farms, to be like harvesting grain. We're hunters and gatherers, right?
Yeah.
So our body kind of exists in this spectrum of your central nervous system. On one side of it, you have the rest and digest. That's called parasympathetic nervous system.
Right.
On the other hand, you have fight or flight. This is like getting chased by a cheetah way over here, right? That's our sympathetic nervous system. And we want to be able to swing back and forth during the right times of the day. So, when you have that Chipotle burrito at lunchtime and you start going way over here and you're like, man, I'm tired. I'm gonna lay under the desk and have like a little 3-hour nap. Just
a protein bowl. No burritos. So I don't need the flour.
Yeah, fair enough. But so you already kind of understand this instinctually.
Yeah.
But you've had that experience? Think about Thanksgiving.
When I first went to Chipotle, trust me, it was always burritos. And then after a while, it was just like, we can do bowls. Yeah, let's do a bowl. And way different feeling. No drop, just kind of like, and I didn't catch it until like maybe probably 4th or 5th time eating there. And I was just like, I don't feel tired. Because usually after something like yesterday, I went to Chili's and I did their fajita lunch. And they're like, so do you want flour or corn? I'm like, do I have to have those? They're like, no. I'm like, good, kill it. And they brought it. And I basically had the vegetables, the chicken, the guacamole, and a couple of sprinkles of cheese. Didn't eat the rice.
You're legitimately doing exactly what I lay out in here. Like I even call out fajitas minus the tortillas as like one of your top lunches.
I'm there with you, bro. I'm in. I'm vested. No, but again, it goes back to just exactly what you were saying is we don't want the swing to be so hard and then stuck on one side or the other. We need to be able to keep it in balance.
Mm-hmm. So when that fasting day, going back to that, during a fasting time, like the best time to hunt is when you're hungry.
Oh yeah.
So I know we're not really out there hunting bison right now, but in our businesses, in our lives, there's still things that are important. I don't know if you ever sat down to like write a like a long form sales copy or film a great like video series or something like that. It's really hard to do like on the heels of like a Thanksgiving dinner. You don't want to be like, right? So when you
Great for a
fast,
promotional video, but not for an informational one.
right?
You don't want to be like this after Thanksgiving.
Guys, I'm coming to you from my recliner right now.
Exactly. No, I'm not doing Peloton tonight, baby.
Skip it.
Yeah.
So if we stay in this like not like fight or flight, like running for our lives, but in this like lightly sympathetic state, this is like we're going to have more mental acuity. We're going to have more focus. We're going to be able to make better connections mentally, like things that you wouldn't normally like connect. You're going to just be smarter. You're going to feel faster. So when you're fasted, you have higher energy and higher focus. And there's a diminishing return on that about like 2 or 3 days, depending on when that hunger like really takes over. But it keeps you in a great state energetically. It helps you balance your insulin resistance, which you mentioned earlier. It's basically a nutritional insurance policy because you're decreasing your weekly caloric intake by 18%. And you're going to like, once you finish a fast, you just have so much like, there's like a weird like sense of pride about it where you're like, I didn't eat 24 hours. I got a lot done. Like I'm kind of the man. It's real. And it feels super good because it's like going to the gym. Like you did something tough.
Yep.
You put something like a deposit in your like health and fitness bank account.
Yep.
And then I also think of it as like an esteemable action, right? You want to build a self-esteem. You got to do esteemable actions. Like you say, you're gonna hit the gym. So you hit the gym. You say you're gonna fast. So you fast. Those things like build your own confidence. So I think there's something really magic about it. But I think, kind of just in summary, the 24-hour fast once per week can be very powerful and probably better for most people than a daily 16-hour fast, like you said, which can be unsustainable.
Rick, real quick, what is a good choice of day? And I don't mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but what kind of a day is it best to do something like that?
A busy day.
A busy day?
Yeah, stack up your appointments, have a lot going on, block your calendar off, and then just go hard on it. Because if you do it on a weekend, I did it on a Sunday like one time and never again, because you're sitting around being like, man, I think about food all the time. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You think about food so much if you're not busy.
We do.
Especially if you're at home, you got the fridge right there.
Yeah, what's funny is my fridge right now is overfilled with food. My neighbor came in last night and said, here, I made some homemade chicken soup. And I'm like, I just ate. What am I going to do with this now? So it's in the fridge sitting there waiting for lunch today. But I think that's huge, dude. There's a lot more to unpack on that. We're actually going to take a short 30-second break, guys. And when we come back, we're going to go into the next section, which is, you can hear he's a passionate dude. So I'm going to go digging on what is it that makes him this passionate and inspires him and gets him moving. So, yeah, this has been good so far. It's going to be interesting to see what we get up next. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds. And we're back here at Java Chat, Coffee with Mike, hanging out with Nate Palmer, author, trainer, coach, extraordinaire, if you will. We were just talking a little bit about some of the things that you can do as far as putting together your diet properly. And if you guys were listening earlier, you could hear the passion in his voice. So obviously this is something that really gets him moving. And this second section is always talking about what inspires us, what moves us, what gets us moving, what's our why. So that's what we're going to dig into at this point. Your first why was that 11-year-old that experienced that craziness. But as you went on, obviously something else started taking its place. What changed?
Well, for me personally, I think kind of what we kind of ended talking about, like the self-esteem and self-confidence. Like I wasn't a really confident kid. So like having something where I was like, hey, I literally haven't missed a workout in 2 years, like I set a goal and like, hey, my results aren't even coming that fast. I had a doctor literally tell me, Mike, that like, he said, you're not an exercise responder. Your body's not going to really respond to exercise. I would choose running. I was like,
wow,
not acceptable. I'm not going to so I kind of just went against his advice and I would just like continue to train. So like, maybe it takes me a little bit longer than other people, but I was okay paying that. So like, that was kind of my thing, was like, wow, like I've seen that if I put my mind to something, you literally can't beat me at it because I'm not going to give up. Like it might take me 2 years when it should take me 3 months. Sure. But I'm gonna get there. And so I feel like having that mentality has served me so well in all these other areas of my life, like building a business and just like going after any goals that I set for myself. And I think that has been like a huge, like just like an amazing part of my story and something that I love bringing to other people. So like, I feel like once you get to the point where like, okay, I feel pretty good. Like my fitness goals are really like, just maintain my, like my body, stay really healthy, have like vibrant energy and stuff like that. That it's like, okay, well, how can we help other people do those same things?
Right.
So I love, like, my legacy that I like to leave behind is I want to be known as a guy who just like you being in my, like my circle, you being affiliated with me at all means that you are getting healthier and you're making more money. I just want that for my and the people that are around. So as I go, I just like hate seeing entrepreneurs and business owners and these smart, capable people that are largely like driving so much of the economy and creating jobs and struggling with their weight loss. Like that irks me because they keep getting fed these BS lies by supplement companies. Well, magic pill, you just got to take a thermogenic, do X, you just got to do keto. You know what? If you watch Forks Over Knives or whatever the newest Netflix documentary is, you just got to go vegan. Like that's how you fix all these things. And if there's so much conflicting put out there by people who have something to gain from you following their advice.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try to make it as simple as possible. So like this book is really, it's not like my first book was like, hey, here's a bunch of information. And people read it and were like, great. This is like, now read the book, now apply it. There's it's a 28-day program that I want you to just follow my exact framework on. Okay. Lay it all out there. A lot of books I feel like these days are like written. It's like, hey, I got this cool, interesting idea. And by the way, in my coaching program, you can have access to the ideas.
That's exactly.
I give it all away.
Yeah.
Like I want people to have the information. I don't want them to be stuck in this health purgatory that so many people are just like dealing with day after day, week after week, because like, I don't know if you have like felt this at all, but when you're not healthy, when you don't like look and feel the way you want to feel, you have this constant track playing in the back of your mind. It's like, I'm not good enough. I need to fix this. I need to get healthy. And like, if you have that playing, you can't be fully present. You can't be fully engaged with your family. You can't be fully engaged with your work.
Right.
So to kill that voice once and for all, I tell people like when we work together with people, I say, let's have this conversation today for the last time in your life. I don't want to have this conversation with you in a year. I want you to be out the door being like, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
So like, that's really my passion is when the happiest things that like the best things you can say to me is if we work together, you do the program, you get some results, whatever. And then I go, hey, how's your diet going? You go, I'm not really on a diet. This is just how I eat now. Like that pumps me up so much.
That changes a lot of things when somebody can finally sit there and go, I'm not on a diet.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that the diet or health and wellness industry has, unfortunately, as much as they've done good, have done a lot of damage. And I don't know necessarily that it was intentional. I think it's kind of just how it evolved. This is going to give my age away, but some of the first protein powders did not dissolve well in water at all. And they had horrible flavors. In fact, a couple of them I couldn't even handle. It was bad, but it was the whole new supplement thing that was coming out. And I watched it change over the years. I've been old enough. I'm old enough to know that things have changed. Thankfully, as far as the grade of quality, supplements have gotten wonderful. But the way it's marketed has gone the other way. Like you said, come follow me, come read my book, come join my coaching program, and go buy these supplements. Use this link.
Right.
It's like, it's an affiliate purchase, duh. But the general populace doesn't know this stuff, which is one of the reasons why I'm glad we're talking about this. Just because it says it's a good supplement doesn't necessarily mean it's a good supplement for you.
Or even in general, like no one's going to put on there.
Some that are just not good. Yeah.
That's an average supplement.
Well, it was funny because I've had as an influencer online, I've tested out, the testosterone boosters and stuff, and it's like, all right, yeah, I felt a little something, but I got my vitamin D3. I've got my K2. I've got, I've got all the normal stuff. I can do it with just normal stuff, normal nutrition. I'm eating foods that I should be eating. Of course, I'm also eating the stuff I shouldn't, but that's that is there. All beef hot dogs. Anyway, the idea of it is when we have that mentality finally, I think that crazy eight that you're talking about, that I'm not good enough and I need to change this, and oh, I'm doing great, but and then they slack off, and then they come back and it's like, oh, I'm not doing good enough, and then they slack off. It's like people do that to themselves too. And I think with what you have going, it'll eliminate this crazy eight thing that keeps going on to a point where the cycle now just becomes, oh yeah, it's just life. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely. And I think one of the big things there is connecting your food and your training and your like water intake and how much you're sleeping and stuff to the other areas of your life that are arguably more important. Like there's not a lot of people who are just like, oh man, I cannot wait to go do Bulgarian split squats at the gym tomorrow. I'm so excited. I don't know those people, and they're probably psychopaths. But for most of us, it's like, hey, I wanted
to know me in my 20s then.
I think I probably actually I like that guy though. I'll be honest. But like most of us are like, hey, you know what? I want to have an amazing weekend with my family. Yeah. I want to increase my revenue, my business by 50%. Like I want to have put out a great like new product. I want to put out like some amazing videos. Like we get amped up about that. So when we can connect, hey, if I don't eat something stupid for breakfast and I follow this like really easy formula for lunch, I can put out better content. I can switch hats much more easily. I can show up for my family at 5:30 and be like, what's up, guys? Rather than being like, hold up. Daddy needs an hour on Instagram. Like when we connect those things, it's so much easier to be like, this is how I eat. This is how I eat because it serves me so well.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would serve themselves better to really pay attention to what you just said. So who are some of the people that you looked up to as you were going through all of this? Like anybody from like, I've had people say their mom and dad. I've had people say their first coach, their last coach, or whatever. Who are some of the ones that have inspired you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate you asking. So I've actually had such an amazing career and just the ability to be mentored by some really, really smart people. But I'd be honestly remiss to not mention one thing my dad said to me when I was younger that's always stuck with me. He said, if somebody can do something, so can you. If someone can do it, so can you. And like that, for some reason, like that just like that is on repeat in my head. And I know that like if it's possible for someone to do something, I might not be like the sharpest tool in the shed, the brightest tool in the shed, but like I know that like if I can see someone doing something with enough time, I can get there too. And so I feel like that's always been in the back of my mind. Like there's like my ceiling is unlimited. There's no stopping me given enough time.
Yeah.
And I think that's like been like really powerful for me because like before I was in fitness, I was doing like door-to-door. I did door-to-door sales for a little bit. I sold advertising, and like that lesson has just served me so well.
I want everybody to hear that again, really hear that again. Because that theme abounds in just about everything in life. Whether you're in marketing, sales, business operations, accounting, fitness and nutrition, startups, if somebody else has done it, you can too. Your father's words are huge wisdom, brother. That's huge.
Yeah, no question.
It's one of those deals where there's still that circle of people. I'm not worth it. I'm not worthy. I can't. And it's like, no. They did it. You can do it too. But what if this? But what if that's like cut the what ifs and the bullshit. If they did it, you can do it too. I love father's wisdoms like that. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So shut those voices down. And honestly, don't think about it. Just put your head down, or better yet, find someone who's done it. So like, if I want what you have, Michael, I got to come to you and I'm say like, hey, how can I be like you? How can you help me be more like you? And so I've invested in a lot of coaching programs and mentorship opportunities because I see people that have things that I want or doing things at a high level. And I go, can you please help me? So after I quit my first corporate job after 3 months, I opened my own business kind of out of a studio with some other trainers. And there was an amazing trainer there named Roger Craig. And he was all about biomechanics and stretching and working with golfers and like helping people move better. And I studied under this guy for 3 years, and he was unbelievable. So he made me take like people through the stretching sequence and working on their bodies. And eventually, to be certified under him, he made me do all this stuff blindfolded, taking someone through a full sequence, assessing their ranges of motion and figuring stuff out. And it helped my career like so much to help like to understand how the body works on this like very, very in-depth like level. And I'm so thankful that I got to experience him in an early part of my career.
Roger is definitely somebody that I don't know him. The name sounds familiar, but I already have high respect because he took away one of the main senses that most coaches rely on, their sight, and turned it into something where you had to feel it in order to prove that you understood it and knew what you were. That's huge, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I can bet it must really allow you to like, when you look at somebody, it gives you a greater awareness of their whole being, which I didn't have a Roger Craig, but I had somebody that was teaching me that when I was a personal trainer. It's funny, I had a client and she was battling the little bulge down in front, the lower ab. And I think she came for like 5 sessions. Session number 3. We're sitting there, she's doing curls, and I stood on the side of her and I looked at her and I went, "Hey, do me a favor." She goes, "What?" I said, "Tuck your pelvis in a little bit." And all she did was tilt her pelvis this much. Gone. She looked at it and she turned to the side and she goes, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Yep, you're done. Don't need you for the next 2 sessions. Have a good day." And she started laughing. And she goes, no, you need. I was like, "Nope, that was the object. You said that was what you wanted fixed. It's fixed. We're done." And and of course, my fit director sitting there going, "Oh my God, what is he?"
upsell.
Yeah, it's like, "Jesus, you're gonna lose all this money." And she still came back for 2 more sessions just to work out. But
no one's gonna fire you after you fix their biggest issue.
Oh no. And what's funny was she was a tourist. She was a visitor. She came in and jumped in on it. So she would have probably become a client, but it was hilarious because when you are that kind of aware as a trainer or a coach, all of a sudden you have the power of perspective, I like to call it, where you're able to see things for what they truly are, which I wish many more people today would have, but another day.
Another like amazing like mentor or set of mentors. As I worked at this gym in Seattle, my wife and I packed up and left Arizona. We're both from here. Our families are here. We just kind of wanted to switch it up. So we moved to Seattle. We had one friend out there, and I got a job at this gym called Pro Sports Club. So it's like kind of Microsoft's like big gym. They have like a 350,000 square foot facility. Like it's insane. It's an amazing gym. They have like 7 swimming pools.
The bloody warehouse. My gosh.
Yeah, they had 150 trainers. Like this place is bonkers. So,
yeah.
And all these trainers were so smart and so passionate and so good at their jobs. And like I'm used to I was kind of used to like the Globo gym where people are like, "All right, Sharon, another 4 reps. Good job, sweet. All right.
Wait, let's Instagram this. Wait, let's get Snapchat."
So all these guys were just on point. And then every month we would do these like continuing education units where we would learn about like diabetes and hypertension and insulin resistance and how leptin and ghrelin work with your body. And just like, and this gym had a great program called the 2020 Lifestyles Program. And like I said before, 95% of people who lose weight gain it back. This program had a 50-50. So 50% of people who would gain it back on this program, which still sounds like a lot, but compared to the national average,
a lot less than 95%. Are you kidding?
That's so getting to work with clients in this capacity and actually like communicating with doctors and communicating with their psychologists and talking with other trainers and dietitians and just like having access to this amazing network of just brilliant people about human physiology and nutrition just gave me so much more insight into weight loss and how do you work with your human body like versus trying to like fight against it. I'm going to do keto until it works, that kind of mentality. So Like
Which
I
seems
just
to
had,
be the
I've been
mentality
so
on keto
blessed.
right now. It's hilarious, dude. I have a couple of friends that are doing very well on keto because they figured it out, and they figured it out in a way that really benefits them. But even they understand it's not going to be forever. But the rest of the populace looks at it and it's just like, oh look, magic pill. Oh look, magic bullet, and it's like, oh, no, please don't do this to yourself.
Yeah, what suffer through the keto flu for 2 weeks and then gain all your weight back after you have your first bagel. Like, no thanks. I'd rather be happy.
You said bagel. Oh, I want bagels today. Damn, I need to go get one. It's gonna be salmon and bagels for lunch. Kidding. Cool. That's it. Look at Nate. Nate's like, are you sure? Are you? Where's that perspective there, Mike?
Tell me
Perspective
more about the
window when you
fajitas
said
though.
bagels.
Come on.
I'm gonna get everything on it. I'm gonna fully cream cheese it just to
I have
make
to get going, Mike. I have to get out of here.
Oh, shucks. All right, cool. Well, I'm sure there's a lot more that you can share. That in and of itself, though, those two things, having a collective, if you will, of people that are really passionate about it, obviously that helps too. That inspires daily. You're now on your own though, down in Arizona. What's keeping you going? What motivates you in the morning? Same thing or what?
Well, I feel like there's a couple things right now. So I got a baby daughter who's 2.5.
Congratulations,
My
Daddy.
son is due in like 2 weeks.
Congratulations
So,
again, Daddy.
thank you. So got kind of that like things feel weightier now, right? It's not just me like messing around, like doing a little online business here and there. So kind of it feels like I need to be a little more serious about that. And I've actually built up I would say the business that I was looking for, I created over the course of the last like 3 or 4 years. And so now I'm looking to figure out how can I start now taking the business that I've created and transitioning to like a lifestyle that's really going to allow me to be a huge part of my kids' lives and not miss dinners and like just be around a little bit more. So number one, like from a personal perspective, I want to create a business that gets people results first and foremost, which is why I wrote the book, that allows me to live a lifestyle on my terms, have a little bit more time freedom. And then also like, I want to be the go-to guy that business builders, that entrepreneurs, that like high level executives, people who need to think and like love pouring themselves into their work. I want to be the guy that they come to when they're ready to make that change, because I love talking to people like that. They're so cool and so fun, and it pumps me up so much. I'm sorry to make this all about me, but then if I can help those guys make these lifestyle changes, so like if you can help like the world movers and the people who are in the trenches doing the work actually elevate their own business, their own like energy, their own focus, like how much could we change the world with that? If you had if I gave everyone extra 2 hours of good work during the day and then allowed them to get home and their family because their focus was better, like what would change about that, like for these people and like their neighborhoods, their cities, the country, like what would that do for people? I'm excited. I'm here for it.
I think it would do a ton, honestly. So that's awesome, dude. Thanks for sharing. We're going to take another short 30-second break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's up for the future. We already heard a little bit about it because we got a new arrival on the way, but I'm sure there's a lot more to talk about. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds. Welcome back to Java Chat. We're hanging out here with Nate Palmer, trainer, author, coach, and just all around cool dude. We're talking a little bit more about what's coming up in the future. We were talking a little bit earlier in the last section. He's going to be a dad again, second time. And of course, he's got the new book out. What's the title of the new book again?
The $1 Million Body Method, the entrepreneur's diet for superhuman focus and rapid fat loss.
How many pages are in that?
172.
Perfect.
But also just look at this.
It's a one-day read, essentially.
Oh yeah. Look at this nice formatting though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Who's your publisher?
I am the publisher. I self-published.
There you go.
Yeah, I managed to hit #1 bestseller in small business and in macro diets on Amazon. So very excited about that.
Small business is tough to get that. That's good. Congratulations.
I was up on Russell Brunson for like 3 hours.
Russell Brunson. So yeah, it'd be me. Yeah. Anyway, another chat for another time. Me and my business partners kind of bust on him a lot because of what we know, and the fact that our marketing agency can actually do stuff that ClickFunnels can't. But that's another story for another time. Boy, if I catch hate for that one. So when it comes to your future, as far as what your plans are with your business, what are you looking at?
Are you talking like specifically like how is my business running for the future, or kind of like what is like the grand goal?
What's the grand goal? Where do you want to get to? What's the plan, man?
Well, like I don't necessarily know if I don't have really plans of like world domination. I'm not trying to build this like giant
Okay, we're done. Goodbye. No. I want world dominators here.
I know,
Joke. It's not true.
but I just want to like I want to kind of be like the behind the scenes like guy who's kind of the secret weapon for a lot of like entrepreneurs and business builders. And I want them to either read my book, go through one of my programs, do some of my coaching. It's like because there's like this is the framework. This builds the base, okay? And then after this, now the challenge is how do we take the framework we learned and turn it into like the other foods we like. So like we talked about proteins and fats in the morning. Okay, I offer you like one suggestion on that for like the duration of the 28-day challenge.
Cool.
Just do exactly what I say. And then once we move past that, well, I don't want you to have to eat the exact same thing every single day for the rest of your life. So here are different protein options, here are different fat options. So if you want to have like clams and avocado for breakfast, I guess you could. Sounds gross, but live your life, you know, like let's
Hey,
figure
if they
out
live
what
on the
works
coast
for
and that's
you.
all they got, brother, that's it might have to be, you know.
Throw a little Franks on it, it'll probably be all right.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway,
So I just felt like my goal is really just like to help like 100,000 entrepreneurs get out of their own way in terms of their health and fitness and start focusing on the important things.
yeah.
Like my goal is really for people to stop thinking about health and fitness. My goal is people to fire me. Like I don't want to be involved in your life long term because that means something's broken.
That's the mark of a true nutritionist / trainer is I don't want you forever. I need you to understand what you're doing, and then I need you to go away because somebody else needs me. And it's never said that way in a manner of I don't like you. I might love you. I might love you as a friend and a person forever, but you can't have me forever. You don't need me forever. That's up here. I think that's an excellent goal, brother. That's really cool. Do you have any other plans? Like, do you plan on doing any speaking engagements eventually, or podcasting or something like that? Or
Yeah, so I've been podcasting for a little bit now. My podcast is called the $1 Million Body Podcast. You can find it on all the other platforms. I think we're about to hit 2 more episodes away from 100. So feeling pretty good about that.
congrats.
I love public speaking. It's like, again, it was a thing I was so scared to do. I literally peed my pants in 7th grade trying to give a speech on J.R.R.
Hey,
Tolkien.
you're not the only one. Though. You're not the only one. There's a lot of people that did, and I'm a live wire, so I'm not one of those guys. I would pee if you told me last second that I couldn't speak. Then I'd be like, what? No, I'm the opposite. But I have a lot of friends that were like, they get up and they freeze.
But it's fun to overcome those things, right? And the only way you can do that is through reps, through consistency, through practice. So I really in 2019, I had a goal of speaking, like getting paid to speak 2 times. And I actually ended up speaking at 8 different places in that year, which was so fun for me. And I just I love the rush. I love talking, obviously. But I would love to do a TED Talk in this year. That was a goal for last year, but something got in the way. I can't even remember what it was. Something like about not traveling. I don't remember.
I actually know somebody I can probably turn you on to that can actually help you design a TED Talk.
I love that.
She's in Germany, and she has done a TED Talk, so she knows how to format it. Just remind me to connect the 2 of you.
Cool. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, part of the reason that I do this is to connect good people. As I learn from all of you, all of my guests, there's also the thing in my back of my head going, who can I introduce this person to? Can I connect them to so that they can further each other's goals and aspirations?
Connectors are the best people in the world.
I try to. It was funny because I can't remember what book it was, but I read the story about being a connector versus being a networker. And literally, I learned it through another group called CEO Space. I don't know if they're still around or not, but literally during their events, people would literally open up their phones after hearing somebody's story about being an entrepreneur and building a startup. And they'd be just like, you need to talk to, and they would literally open up their phone and call. I know that looked like a flip phone. That's how old it is. And they would call, don't hate, and they would call their contact and go, hey, Bill, I just heard this thing. I think you need to hear this. And they would literally hand the phone over to somebody else and make that connection. And that's how I view any of my guests. If I can benefit them that way, that's what I'd want to do.
I love that. It's really that go-giver mentality. It's like, how much can you, cause I really think that like we all rise up together. Right. So if like, that's why I said like my legacy, I want people around me to be healthier and make more money. And like, do I need to get paid on everyone who's getting healthy around me? No, like I got people I have $1 million body group on Facebook, people who never like my stuff, never comment on anything. And then like a year later, they'll message me and be like, hey man, I've been watching your stuff behind the scenes. I've lost 25 pounds. I'm feeling in like the best shape of my life. And I'm like, yes, let's go.
The lurkers are the ones that are interestingly a lot more intelligent than most people think.
Like there's definitely a sophisticated market. They're not going to just respond to all my CTAs and stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. They're the hardest ones to crack, even though they're the ones that are getting the results. I get that. That's funny. So you have a group. Is that on Facebook?
Yeah, so you can get there by going, and I'll send this to you. It's but n8trainingsystems.com/group will get you there. It's a free group. Just like if you join in on the fun, I put out all my best content in there. We go live once a week talking to experts. Like we do a lot of stuff about fitness, but I try to do like the bit like the for the podcast, kind of the intersection of fitness and business building. So like yesterday we heard from my buddy who wrote a book called The Lifestyle Investor. He was just talking about how to create passive income and like where do you go for like cash flow investments and stuff. So it was amazing to get a chance to talk to him. Just like, man, my life is awesome. I love what I do, and I love the people I get to connect with on a daily basis.
That's sweet. And then I would assume you're on all the other platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram and stuff like that, and pretty much under the same username.
Yeah, N8 training, pretty much on everything.
Sweet, guys. You know that all of the links will definitely be down below in the comments. If somebody wants to leave a question, make sure that you do down in the comments, because he's gonna have. I keep forgetting it's the opposite. He's going to have all the links when they go live on YouTube and all the different platforms. What's one good solid piece of advice that you can give to people that are probably struggling with that, the 95% that are struggling with that whole deal? What's a good piece of advice you could give them besides read the book?
Yeah. Number one, read the book. Number two, one of the best possible things you can do to kind of start making those like daily habitual like investments in your health, that's super cheap, super easy, doesn't take you any time at all, and it's just going to give you an amazing return on your investment, is wake up in the morning, drink 32 ounces of water first thing before you put anything else in your body, and then do 60 seconds of a vigorous exercise. Jumping jacks, squats, shadow boxing, jump rope. If you do those two things in the morning, in the first 30 minutes of waking up, and it takes you literally like less than 2 minutes to do this, you are going to have such a great day. And you're going to start off that day with like already 2 big investments in your own health and nutrition. And it's free. It's free 99. And if you don't like it, you know what? I'll give you your money back.
Yeah, I bet you can triple it. You can triple it.
That's right. I'll triple it and I'll send you a video of me doing push-ups.
See, now that might be worth it. You're gonna get a lot of friend requests, I swear. All right. All right. Well, guys, this is first off, thanks again for coming and hanging out, Nate. It's been an absolute pleasure. You bring back some good memories for me, especially that 605-pound squat that I did that one time. Yeah.
Never had that issue.
Yeah. I had it once. It's good to remember certain good things, and it's nice when I get guests that can bring back the good memories, and hopefully I brought a few good memories for those of you out there that are watching or listening. Again, if you need to find them, it's Nate Training, and the number 8. Yeah. So 8 Training.
When I came up with that in 2011, I was like, man, I'm clever. Now I spend 40% of my time being like, no, 8, like the number 8. No, not that. Don't spell it.
Yeah, it's like a license plate, you guys. It's abbreviated.
That's right. That's how I should tell people. It's like a license plate.
Or you should see how I have to explain my last name. Jeez. All of the links will be below. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Hit the bell, so you know when we get another good guy like this to come on our podcast. If you're listening on any of the podcast platforms, make sure you download or subscribe. If you're listening on anchor.fm, which is our home plate, make sure you give us some support. We always could use a little bit here and there. We end these the same all the time. We love you guys for making time and taking time to hear these, listen to these, commenting on them, asking questions, interacting, following our guests, and you know, engaging with them. So for both myself, Coffee with Mike, and for Nate and 8, don't spell it out, Palmer, stay up, stay safe, stay healthy, and live. Ciao for now.
For more information on Java Chat, visit www.javachatpodcast.com. You've been listening to Coffee with Mike on Java Chat. Tune in weekly to this podcast for the next episode. You can also download or subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform. A production of Oasis Media Group, LLC. Located in Las Vegas, Nevada. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved.